Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever and Ever, the Kelly Fans Podcast, season number 4, episode number 33, coming to you live from Limelight Studios in Irvine. My name's Paul. Across the table from me is my friend, colleague and co-host Callum Scott. Hello mate.
How are you, man?
Brilliant bud, brilliant, thank you for asking.
Really like the t-shirt that you're rocking tonight.
Thanks very much man. Fit check, bringing it back.
So, did Flecky send you the stuff for like the AI music?
The AI music, aye. So,
because the fit check was mentioned.
The fit check was it. So, a friend of the pod, Mark Fletcher, tried to create a theme song, obviously tongue in cheek, for this podcast. We'll get the wee file actually and share it properly next week.
Aye.
I don't want to just hold my phone up. So cheesy, but weirdly catchy too. And he didn't want for Tyrese John Jules and all. Gets the ball and scores a goal. So, AI music is out there, mate, alive and well.
Because I think it was inspired by the stuff that I sent you across.
Aye, that's right.
Is it with Stu? It'll be one that he'll like.
The Rangers playlist.
The Rangers soul covers that are absolutely sensational.
Tremendous.
Sent them to a few folk. They're actually class.
They're actually very good. So, but you're well, mate. You're good.
Aye.
You have a nice weekend.
I did so, man.
Good.
I wasn't able to obviously catch the Kelly boys on Saturday, given I had a prior engagement that our good friend Conor Doran's got us for my birthday.
Aye, that's right.
Treated us to a meet and greet with the Sopranos.
Aye.
Well, Michael Imperioli and Steve Sharappa. So it was a good experience, man.
Aye.
Better taste in the mouth at the end, right enough.
Aye, you said that the some of the staff around about them weren't as hospitable as maybe the lads were.
Aye, well, the comedian was appalling anyway, man. This
right.
American guy that just, his script did not land over here at all. So he was quite bad, and then he was trying to kind of coordinate everything at the end, and I kind of wouldn't get his stuff signed and all that we brought, and it wasn't like we were there with 50 things that were evidently like trying to sell on eBay after kind of things. It was like personal gifts for us. Signed a couple of things for other folk, but then our folk were getting lumped back. It was sad to see, man.
I know. Well, if anybody's looking for any signed Sopranos merch, get in touch with the pod. I'll get 50 pictures signed by the gentleman on Saturday. We're selling them at £100 a pop, so get in touch. And £99 of that will go to us, and we're probably going to put £1 to charity. So please let us know if you're interested. Right, okay, loads to get through Kelly-wise as ever. Dundee United on Saturday, a very valuable point on one of the worst grass pitches I've ever seen, and I do include Scott Ellis in that.
It's Scott Ellis when it floods.
Really bad. Newlands Drive up non-thank. It was in better condition.
See, because I never got to catch the game, but I saw so many folk obviously saying this, and we've got a good few questions about it as well, but there was a part of me thinking, are folk just saying this because of the flack that we get for the pitch, or was it really that bad?
It was really that bad, and it deteriorated. So it didn't start off very well, but by the second half, as I was saying to you, it turned into an amateur game over a park on a Saturday, because there was just nobody willing to take the chance, because you couldn't trust the pitch. It was get the ball wide and get it into the box, which is obviously how we ended up scoring in the end, so it worked out by horrendous pitch. But we'll talk about that game, and then we've got another massive encounter coming up. They're all big games now, between now and May, away to Falkirk on Saturday, and then a wee break after that because it's the Scottish Cup.
Aye, nothing big happening that weekend anyway, aren't there?
No, well, it's obviously a big birthday for me, and in 2 weeks tonight I'll not be here on the pod. You'll need to get a sub in.
Oh, you'll be.
I'll be in Madrid.
Aye, that's right. Of course you will. Forgetting about that.
Living it up with my soulmate.
you will be actually. Now that I think
me and my wife.
Caught me off guard there. I'll need to get something else sorted for that weekend.
And there's a few people in the.
Well, there's options.
We've got a strong bench now, so we'll call somebody up. Right, okay. So let's get into Dundee United on Saturday. You'll obviously have caught up with the game as much as you can. I watched it. First things first. What a support up there. They got to 1,000 on a mucky day, on a fairly kind of run-of-the-mill league fixture. Incredible backing that was coming across on the telly, certainly. And finally they got a happy ending, man, with that last-minute goal. Brilliant header from Ali Watkins. Great to see him involved, and great to see him contributing again. What's been the vibe that you've taken for the game on Saturday?
I'm hoping that you'll get into it in a lot more detail, given that you were actually able to watch it now, isn't it? So I hold my hands up to that. But seemed like for me, a great point when you consider that you're down and a point away from home, scoring in the last couple of minutes has always got to be taken as a huge positive. I think as well, when you mentioned the support there, somewhere earlier on in the season when we won there under Kettlewell, I think it makes a big difference being in the shed as well.
Aye, it does. Aye.
Again, I think it was actually Gav Wilson put in the forums, like the kind of low roof and all that. It keeps the sound well, and the atmosphere travels pretty well. And the only thing I'll say is it must be so gutting. Could you imagine the goal was up at the end? Like that's every time we usually get robbed of something like that. But for that's what was interesting when you said on the way up, that we were actually really good first half, because the highlights don't show you really anything. It just shows you the United chances that they carved out. But what I will say is Greg Kilty again, excellent. Like, he's contributing every week now with goals and assists. But what a header for Watkins. And I was just like, as much as Marley's taking a bit of flack over maybe the last year as well, he's still somebody that we hold like in dead high regard, especially just personally for what he contributed in that kind of first season with us. But it's an unbelievable header, and it was great to see him kissing the badge and that after it as well. And
knows how to get into the good books, doesn't he?
Things that get to you, man. So but I was delighted to see it. But he's got so much work to do. It's a ridiculously good header.
It's a great goal. Very
similar to his header against St Mirren, the infamous comeback as well.
Aye, it was like that one. So spot on, mate, with Kilty. I think Kilty is really contributing and really looks like the kind of confident Premier League player that we hoped we were getting back. He had a very good game. I thought in the first half we were the better side. They obviously got that penalty, which seemed really soft to me at the time. I don't think they done a very good replay it, even on the telly. Like, you were waiting on that better angle. It never really came. It didn't look like there was any contact to me, or very, very minimal. And then when you play it next to the Finlay Curtis episode later on, which seems like at least as much of a foul, if no more a foul, and it doesn't get checked and all that. But we've seen it all weekend. Some of the refereeing decisions. We were talking about the Rangers Levy incident towards the end. The red card for King, who plays for St Mirren, is one of the most baffling things I've ever seen in my life. Not just in football, just in general. I'm like, in what world is he getting a red card for that?
I still cannot believe, and for the angle that they show you, and that's Premier who have got the cameras there, and I'm like, what's he been sent off for, man? So I can't wait to hear that in the VAR review.
Surely that gets rescinded, because he's not even close to touching him. And Motherwell have had so many plaudits, rightly so, brilliant to watch. And if anybody wins the league, I hope it's them, as doubtful as that is. But that guy needs to get a retrospective ban, because it's cheating, mate. That's what it is.
Very poor, and I'm always one. I remember I've debated with you for a few years, not in public like we do in this forum, but with how players sometimes need to play the game a wee bit. I know that's something that you don't like, but at times I don't mind a player kind of buying a foul and that. I just think it's part of football. However, what he's doing there is just ludicrous. And the fact that he gets sent off as a result of it, as opposed to him being like, should be like publicly humiliated for that, which I'm sure he hopefully will be in due course when it does get rescinded, because that's one thing you don't want to see red cards for. But again, to go back to our own game, I just, when I watched it back, I was like, how is that a penalty? Like, Lyons must maybe stand on his foot or something, because it can't be for this, man. It can't be. And even at that, he's obviously buying it in the simulation, but don't get me wrong, if he's planted his foot on him, I still think it's extremely soft, and I don't think that is. But it's ludicrous. But you're saying it in the United commentator, so that's just wild.
I'm obviously a fully paid up member of Dundee United TV, so I was watching it on that. And the guy, the summariser guy, Dave something.
So he must have was an ex-player, no?
He didn't sound like an ex-player. No. He could have been. I don't know. They get to half time and they're talking about the instances they would do. And the lead commentator's like, right, what do you think? Penalty. Definitely a penalty. It should be a red card for Brad Lyons, because that's a clear goal scoring opportunity. How does he know? Is it Ferry, the boy? The left side, the guy. How does he know that he's not going to take a touch and go through and goal and slot it by the goalkeeper? It's a clear goal scoring opportunity. Another farce for the referee. It should be a red card, and I hope Dundee United get an explanation for it. And to be fair to the commentator, he was like, hey, you're a million mile off that there. Like, number one, that rule actually doesn't exist anymore. The double jeopardy hang in the box for something like that. It's got to be in the attempt to play the ball. But even then, he's like, it's not a clear scoring opportunity. He's still got quite a bit of work to do. And the commentator guy, the summariser guy, just wasn't having it. He just thought it should have been a red card.
How anybody can watch that and think. But again, this is just folk getting blinded by hence why we've touched on other refereeing decisions, because it all then just comes into your own team all the time, and you're like, well, if they're getting that, then this must be. But because everything of late has been so focused on the denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity, ourselves included, with the John Jules thing at Ibrox, and then the Trusty and the incident in the Rangers game yesterday as well. But you're just like, that's not even close to it. Like, again, he can take the touch and get the shot away, but then you're like, every foul in the box is a penalty then, because you're preventing whoever from getting a shot away. You're just like,
a strange take. But obviously Dundee United, then we kind of went narrower at half time. I thought Tishbola had a really good first half, kind of really dropped out in the second half. Lions
wild
came off.
challenge he put on
he just looked a wee bit ragged all of a sudden, and Dundee United got into the ascendancy. They adjusted slightly better, I thought, in the second half. Had a few kind of decent chances. They obviously have that decent chance earlier on where the guy hits the bar. The penalty, great save by the way by Roos, and well deserved, because he's not the easiest of starts at Kelly. He's conceded an awful lot of goals, but I thought it was quite steady, to be fair, on Saturday.
Made a few good saves.
Good save.
What I could see,
because I thought, and we both thought the strike would probably play, but I'm interested to see how that unfolds now. But and when Dundee United scored, it's a good goal, and Shoning Larsson, who I think's done really, really well, maybe should show him on the outside, but McCann himself came out and said, which I thought was refreshing, that it was his call. It was, he made a mistake leaving that space out in that left hand side for Dundee United, who exploited it. Cracking finish for the guy though, we've got to say.
It's an unbelievable finish, and it's just quite funny how we've conceded a very similar goal 2 weeks in the trot. I know there are slight differences with the Fata one and Tanetke, but it's a brilliant finish. And
you better stop mentioning that Fitba team, because we'll have folk chasing us down now, because you've said Fata's goal's better than Tanetke's.
Was there it was actually my dad that told me about it, because I think you ended up blocking the guy.
Aye, I did.
But there was somebody that said, and I will say the word, I'm allowed to, because I'm one of them anyway, so it's like, not getting into that line of work here, but because obviously somebody then watched the full podcast. This wasn't the crackpot that was commenting in the YouTube channel.
Aye.
And then somebody said, "Oh well, your pal," obviously talking about me.
Aye.
Wouldn't he be feeling aggrieved if he never called us Fenian dogs?
Aye. So that's what you were getting accused of last week. So I didn't think we said anything particularly controversial last week, to be honest.
No, man.
But there's obviously some issues with that football club at the minute. Bit of paranoia, but I kind of
should maybe give him a wee wave in the camera, see if he's still watching.
I made a promise. I'm never going to mention them again. I'm never mentioning them again. It's no worth it. They come after you. They screenshot your Twitter and all that. And
you had a personal one with your Twitter.
It's a wee bit scary. So I get it now. Like, we're a wee tiny percentage of how all this works in the Scottish football media. I get it. I get why papers just print it. I get why the BBC. I was in Off the Ball when somebody phoned in and mentioned, and they went into meltdown because somebody in the studio had called Rangers Sevco or something, and it wasn't funny in the studio. They were panicking. They were like, "Oh no!" And I was like, "What happened there?" And the producer was like, "We'll get 250 emails a day because somebody said that." And it is. And we had a wee slice of that last week. Weren't particularly controversial, just talking more for the Kelly side, but some supporters just don't want you talking about it. So that's it. When we get back to playing that football team next year, hopefully we're in the same division. I don't want to talk about it.
Silent protest, man.
Silent protest. Anyway, back to where we were. So I thought we did great, mate, because when Dundee United score, I don't think we were shown very much at that point. We dropped significantly out the game, and I thought this has got 1-0 written all over it. But the last 5 or 6 minutes, we really pressed. Dundee United tired. We kept peppering the box with crosses, and we get that lucky break. It's a well worked, nice bit of composed play. Brilliant cross for Kilty and a fantastic header for Marley. Better than the goal, though, as we discussed in the car, is the fact they went to get the ball straight away. They wanted to go and win the game, and I think that says everything about the mentality shift compared to maybe where it was 7 or 8 weeks ago. Obviously, the game unfolds with Jack Thompson getting sent off. Takes one for the team. Takes a red card. Ultimately, you came away with a really valuable point. 2 or 3 really good performances. I thought Hugo had a really good first half, showing the things that you discussed the week before. Some really nice touches and layoffs. I think Shelty Brown again looking really good. Kilty, Shoning Larsson to me looks like a player. So quite a few positives to take, mate.
Was it like Curtis and Hugo up top together?
Aye, kinda. it was like it was one of the games. I actually was, because it got so bitty so quickly. It was quite hard to tell exactly what both teams were playing.
No, I get that.
But they definitely had a kind of flatter 4 in the first half, and then moved it into that kind of diamond in the second half. So, but again, Curtis, for a young guy, man, he's getting asked to do an awful lot of different jobs, which I find quite interesting.
I think David Tanner's got a question about that as well, which is, but what I like about him, he just doesn't seem phased. Evidently, with his first game getting tossed in at right back, and he was arguably our best defender that night as well. Never mind with the actual assist in that he got, but he just seems to be getting up and getting on with it kind of thing, as opposed to, oh no, I'm here to play. Don't get me wrong, I would rather just see him play wide. Be that as a 4 or a front 3 or whatever. But no, fair play to him, because he's just knuckling down and contributing and giving his all.
So, valuable point. And obviously it's get to the stage now where you're looking at the teams around about you. Later on that night, you're thinking, right, St Mirren, Motherwell. Obviously Motherwell are playing really, really well. St Mirren are struggling. You didn't see 5 coming, so that helped us. Takes a good few goals off of St Mirren's goal difference and keeps them right close in with us. This weekend we're away to Falkirk. Big game. We need points off of Falkirk. That I think we've got to go and get someone on Saturday. I really strongly believe that. Not necessarily in that one-half game, but because they've beat us, we've got to go and get someone, and it's Livy St Mirren. So something's got to give this weekend. I think we've got to go and win at Falkirk. I've got a feeling Falkirk's season might just sort of gently come to an end quite soon, because they're going to finish 6th, which is way beyond their expectation, and we might be the beneficiaries of
exactly what I was thinking, because it's not a case of, like, folk have been telling them, as they have been doing Hearts all season, all the wheels have got to come off. It's like they look safe in there now, and it doesn't look likely that they're maybe got to catch the teams above them. So you're thinking it would only be natural for them to kind of fall off a wee bit, but still comfortably finish top 6, which would be a great achievement for them, to be fair. So, but I know we've got the question on it, because somebody asked if for due one over Falkirk, but they'll not be saying that after we've dominated for at least the last 30 years.
They were due a few over us, and they've definitely had it this season. So the interesting thing, obviously, there's no clarity yet on Tyrese John Jules' injury. The vibes coming from McCann seem to be a slightly more positive. I was picking up. What was your thoughts on that?
100%. I was shocked when I seen Ewan's piece went out and stuff like that, because everybody knew that he wasn't going to be here that weekend, but even the illusion that he could be kind of thing, and alluding to that, I was a bit like, right, well, surely can't say that and then we announce that he's out for the rest of the season or beyond that. So you would like to think, going by what McCann's saying, it's maybe that first anticipated that we thought last week as well, like that kind of 46 weeks, but who knows, we still don't know. I just think it would look bad if McCann said that and then it came out that he was ruled out for months on end, and you're thinking, what did we get out of that? Folk will say, oh, it keeps the opposition guessing, but the fans want to kind of, if our biggest goal threat's got to be here or no.
My feeling on John Jules now, obviously I've got quite a substantial medical training, so I can comment on this, is that if he was out for the season, it would have been announced.
That's what
surely they've seen. To me, it's feeling like they've had a scan and it's more positive, and now they're double checking. Like, is he alright to just keep playing here or something like that? Because I think if it would be a tear or whatever, they're just coming out and going, aye, that's a 8-10 week recovery.
And then anything beyond that's a bonus. And then if you get him back sooner, that's what I hope.
Feels like they're hedging their bet slightly. So, interesting one. What's your feelings for Falkirk on Saturday, Cal? Do you think we're going to get a result up there? You said last week you fancied 2 draws. Are you sticking with that?
It's a tough one, because I think that we're capable of going one, and especially in the way in which we can back it. And I know Dundee United on the flying, and we've kind of had their number this season, but you still think it's a great point to come back, and the character that we showed for, like, when we went to Golden, like, we just really kicked on and we still tried to go and win the game. So I think that we could win, but again, a draw wouldn't be a disaster. Of course, if they would rather see wins there, and if you're taking 4 points for 2 games, then you're certainly heading in the right direction. But I think if we can just keep the kind of momentum going, and we really just the big games that's got to come down to is Livy at home and Dundee at home. Further down, I'm not saying every game's huge, but those are the 2 games that they know we need to win if we're going to get ourselves at this 11th place. Aye,
so I've got a feeling we will win on Saturday.
Good.
I think we're due a a big away performance and result, and I think we'll do a clean sheet. And I think we'll get both.
Yes.
I think we'll get both on Saturday. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win up there, and keeping this feel-good factor going, because things have been better.
Marley scoring again?
Marley scoring again would do me just fine. I wonder if he'll start. What do you think?
He seems to like the two up top.
Aye.
So it will be interesting to see where he goes for there, because I think Watkins is his kind of striker. We all know if Marley's fit and available, that he can be a handful for teams. So no, I'm just happy to see him back in and about the squad.
So I think there's now, which is a big shift from where we were 5 or 6 weeks ago, 7 or 8 players that you can't drop. You know, that are now really performing at a level where you're like, for the likes of Kilty, he's got to play. I think Shelty Brown's got to play. I think Shoning Larson's definitely going to play. I think you've got to play Hugo because he's physical threats, and it's nice to have that. I think Watson will keep playing. There has been a bit of chat this week around about David Watson's form, which has definitely dropped down a level or two from where he was at. I would persist with Watson in the middle of the park. I know a lot of folk want to drop him. My reason for persisting with him are, as I said to you in the car, Watson is making a lot of mistakes, giving the ball away an awful lot, but he still has that force of personality, that energy and that physicality that he also makes the opposition make mistakes. I don't think we've maybe got enough of that, and I think that's what you need in this situation. So I would be keeping Watson in the team for that element of his game, because he is really busy still, and he harries a lot, and sometimes he can actually be ill-disciplined with it. But I'd keep him in the team, and if we were going with the 3 in the middle, I would be inclined to go with Watson, Tish and Polworth.
Well, that leads me on nicely, because I was going to ask you what your thoughts on Lions were at the weekend. Was he hooked at half time? Was it tactical? Was it injury related or what?
So I'm not entirely convinced of what Brad Lyons' function is in this team at the minute.
As in this new style. And
I know, to be hypercritical, we've praised Brad quite a lot, and rightly so, and been critical to it at times, but I just don't. So to compare him to Watson. Watson's gifts in football aren't technical, they're physical, right? He can run all day, and he's got that energy. So I think you've got that covered. I would say that's Lyons' kind of gifts and all. Although he's had the odd game where you feel like he's playing some nice stuff and all with the ball at his feet. But I just think I'm just not totally convinced of what. I mean, what do you think Brad Lyons' best position is, right? In a football team, because I don't think he can play as a 2 in centre midfield. I don't think he's got enough about him. In a 3 maybe, but I feel like Watson's doing what Lyons would do in that 3, and you need a bit more composure and control. This is why I would play Polworth and Tishpola. We've seen him have decent games at right wing back, right back, but again, he's not going to play in the positions now. So I think Lyons might be the one to come out of the team despite being the captain.
Aye, I think it's interesting points put forward, and I agree with a hell of a lot of what you've said. I think one of the main things for him being in there now, and it's something that we're lacking, is just a lack of physicality.
Aye,
throughout
that's
the team.
a fair point.
But don't get me wrong, if Tishpola is the one that comes in and essentially I know you're saying in theory for Saturday it would be Polworth that replaced him, but you know what I'm getting at here. Like, Polworth's played most of the season, but Tish coming in at least gives you that wee bit of physicality in the middle of the park, which I think we've been sorely lacking. And it's just one of them that, because he's obviously been through it all before with us as well, played in teams that qualified for Europe. I know he was injured for a large part of that, despite starting the season very, very well. But no, I'm with you. I think that it can be quite frustrating trying to work out where Lyons is best to contribute, because there's no doubt he gives his all, and he's more than capable. But I just think that you're right. I think that when you actually directly compare him to Watson, but a lot of people are calling for Watson.
Aye, and I actually understand why too.
Aye, because that's it.
He is off the boil.
But I'm with you on that, and I think that even when Watson hasn't been great, you're still just that wee bit about him where he makes other teams think, at least, you know what I mean, and then doesn't give him a moment's rest. And
there's a goal in Watson.
Aye, there is. So I'll be an interesting man to see, but I still think that he probably will play on Saturday.
Aye, every chance. All right, okay. So I'll make a prediction. I'll go 1-0 Kelly on Saturday. What's your prediction yourself?
Aye, obviously with the positivity that you're radiating here, I've got to say, aye, 2-0, man.
2-0, Kelly.
Aye. Aye. And I want Marley to score, man.
Aye. I'm on the Marley train here.
Be great for him, like, despite the way things have been. And last year never get gone, but let's not forget last year he scored against Copenhagen. He scored the winner against Rangers still. But for him to kind of be in and out this season, for him to come back for the run and do enough to keep us up would be a great send off. And that's a
brilliant way of putting it, mate. I'd love to see that for Marley because he's been a good servant to the club. Right, okay, everybody, we'll head over to the KillyFC.com forums and the X and answer your questions. But before we do that, we've got a message from Nick Davis at Allied Surveyors Scotland.
Allied Surveyors have been carrying out valuations and home reports across Ayrshire and in Kilmarnock for over 20 years. Company director and lifelong Kelly fan Nick Davis is based here at 91 John Finney Street and is here to help you if you've got any questions or queries or are looking to get your home sold.
Huge thank you to Nick Davis at Allied Surveyors. His office is on John Finney Street if you want to go and have a chat, and if you're needing anything valued, surveyed, anything in that sphere of life, Nick is definitely the man to do it. Also a very talented guitar player.
Indeed, indeed, and a football player by all accounts, getting the 10-bar player of the year, which was justified.
Was he been too modest, Nick?
He was been too modest, because Martin spoke to me directly, and I've actually got a funny thing as well. Remember the chat about cereal last week?
Yes.
So Martin for 10 boys actually got me some Golden Grahams, man.
Has he?
And they've been delivered to me anytime. They could be delivered anytime.
And
I get the message and I'm thinking, what a guy, man. So thank you very much for that, mate. A newborn Wayne and all that, and he's out there getting me Golden Grahams, man.
That's what it's all about. Sean Maddox messaged me saying about Start as well.
Oh, aye, that came up in Lindsay McIntyre. Great shout with Ricicles, man. Brilliant cereal as well. Tremendous. And I had John Hamilton messaging me saying, where do you get these Golden Grahams? And I sent him somewhere and they didn't have them, and then they got the last box somewhere else. So
excellent.
So there's a shortage across the west coast of Scotland here, man.
Thanks to us, man. Right, okay, let's get at the KillyFC.com forums. We'll answer your questions as best we can. The Bellman says, how shite are grass pitches? 10 games left, 2 points off of St Mirren, who have a game in hand, and 8 ahead of Livy. Where are we finishing?
That's the question that we all wish we knew the answer to, innit?
Do you still think we'll finish above Dundee? Because after that result, I wasn't expecting them to beat Aberdeen.
No, because, again, I still think that there will be twists and turns, but they're really looking like, in the Kelly Chronicle put out a brilliant article last week where Gaby kind of done a lot of the maths to see where I think he's still on the kind of boat that 35 points would be enough throughout the season. Everyone will come down to that, the bottom six.
They're going to be. There's going to be huge games, aren't there?
Huge
6
games.
pointers.
So I still think, and the only thing I can say is what we would be saying if we were St Mirren fans, and if we were St Mirren fans, we'd be saying we're all getting dragged, like Ken, we'll finish in the playoffs. So you've got to hope that kind of negativity spreads through, but you're still always thinking surely they've got enough about them. Like there's still guys that I would absolutely take in the St Mirren team over a lot of the guys that we've got, if I'm being honest. And again, no, personally, just I think that again they went and won the cup. They've had 3 top 6 finishes in a row, had more than a blip than now. But I just think as long as we keep going where we're now, keeping the pace, and if we get into the bottom 6 within 3 points, give or take, in all the games I've caught up, I think we can. Well, it's in our own hands to get out. You know,
of course, I think there's a chance we can still finish 10th. I wonder if it's just going to be a wee stretch too far, but again, I don't have the worry that I did, because I think now you're probably getting into that playoff with a wee bit of positive momentum, rather than if the St Mirren went into it, they've kind of fell into it. So, it'd be interesting. I wonder if you think St Mirren could do the treble. They could win the League Cup and win the playoffs. Could be on for them.
Who is it they've got again? They don't get a favourable draw in the
Partick Thistle.
So
not a chance. LH31, will we stick with Keller Roos for the run-in?
Well, in credit to Big Roos, I thought he was good at the weekend. Like, you know, he's certainly had his critics' fees come in. But I thought he looked, for the highlights that I saw, that he made a good few saves.
Definitely his best game,
and the penalty, and that's something on its own as well. Like the Dundee United, that's 3 games and 3 penalties he missed against us.
That's right, and 3 goalies.
3 different goalies. Aye, somebody tweeted us that. It was a brilliant stat. So I have a feeling it could be, because you're like, when you got to drop him.
Aye, interesting. Obviously, Eddie Beach is away on loan to Derry City. And James Brown
Aye.
is also away to St Patrick's.
We wish them well.
Aye, good night, sweet prince. Right, DMC F86 says, who, if anyone, will step up to be the main man in Tyrese John Joe's absence? Hugo or Curtis, perhaps? Hadn't considered him until yesterday, but maybe Marley might be the guy that gives us something extra.
Aye, kind of something like what I was saying there. But if we can get a 3 contributing, then we're settled on to a winner.
Absolutely, mate. East Coast Kelly says, who would you say has been our most improved player under McCann? I think John Jules has always had that bit of quality, but for me it would be Kilty. 4 goal contributions in his last 5.
Aye. So I think that obviously Kilty's been outstanding, and it's just great to see him contributing the way that we all hoped he would, as you touched upon earlier on.
And he was your tip for Player of the Year?
It was, aye.
Better than mine, which was Corey and Daba.
Aye. Away within a couple of weeks, man.
Aye, exactly. Right, Mathematics gets in touch, says, what's the best board game?
Got
to say Monopoly, aren't you?
I'm got to be unpopular here and say not much a board game type of guy, believe it or not.
No?
Nah. I remember one year it was horrible, and it's funny given that Matthew's like a psychologist, well, a forensic psychologist, so like the harm that this would have done to me at this age, where him and John used to kind of try and like give me hints of what my birthday present was going to be.
Oh, good.
And then there was one year they're like, right, we'll tell you, but you can't tell mum and dad and that. And then it was like, we've got you Snakes and Ladders. Like, and I was like, fucking hell, I was shite a birthday present. But then I had
21st.
But then I had to be like, oh, thanks, because I was still really nice. I'm not a spoiled wee brat type thing, man.
No.
But they knew what they were doing. Turned out it was the APA wrestlers that they got me. So Frick and Bradshaw, which was excellent. But then they gave me that they gave me it to open early, and then mum and dad gave me antibody for it, and I get grounded for it. So for my breastfeeding my birthday present.
There you go, eh? So you've no got a favourite board game?
Nah, I like trivia and all that though.
I like Trivial Pursuit and Monopoly. Quite old school, but both good. We at one point had about 50 board games in our house.
Aye.
Because my Wayne's loved a board game on a Saturday night.
Oh,
We used to play. We had a few different ones. We had like a thing called Linky, and it was like you had to like link the 5 different things that came through. We had a thing called.
Would it be like a?
Aye, what is the link between these 5 words? And you.
That's pretty good.
Aye. And then we had a thing called the creepy hand. It was this big giant green horn that had batteries in it, and it was a bit like a thing for the Addams family, and it moved about the table, and then when it would go, and that meant it was your question.
Right.
And Taylor really liked it. It was
good.
like creepy hand, brilliant game. Wasn't really a brilliant game. It was very based on the gimmick of the hand moving about, but the creepy hand. So, but I'm going to go old school Monopoly.
I know a lot of folk that kind of do things like that. I like Connect 4 and all that. And
I get to be a game of Connect 4. I bet it's got. And he also asked what's the best computer game.
Pro Evo 5.
But the early Pro Evos are sensational. I miss the edit mode.
Unbelievable, man.
Wonderful.
So good.
He also asked what players in the squad are Elden Ring and Risk players, and which are Pong and Snakes and Ladders fans. So Elden Ring and Risk are obviously the kind of highbrow versions of video games and computer games,
right?
And Pong and Snakes and Ladders will be but you've already outed yourself as a Snakes and Ladders fan. I don't know. I think Lewis May would probably be into the higher brow stuff, wouldn't he? Risk. Right, Supermax is a good point earned after that on that embarrassment of a pitch. After rewatching Eddie Murphy's stand-up Delirious, which Kelly players do you think could wear the red leather suit?
Well, just based on the question that you posed to him, but it's going to be John Jules in it. That's just
very stylish man, isn't he?
Aye, in the suit for the Ballon d'Or when he picks it up.
Well, there you go.
Once he comes back after his 4 weeks and shoots us back up the league.
There you go, answered. Ali Mitchell says £50 spent for a 16-year-old to attend a game. If I could attend, it would have been 120 total, maybe. So my question is, what's the best takeaway in Darvel, New Mills or Galston, and what do you get?
Well, I've
hundreds of food questions now.
Time and time again said what the best
Royal
takeaway and Kebab City.
Kebab City.
Aye, so pizza, pakora, chips and cheese for the. But again, their actual kebabs will be good as well. But big advocate of the spicy chicken pizzas for that, man.
Big advocate.
Aye.
Kelly Allen says, how do we get more fans to attend the Kelly women's games?
I don't know. They're obviously flying high now.
They're doing very well. They'll get a spike in attendance next year when they got to that Premier League.
I think so as well.
And more exposure, it's on the TV and all that.
And you've just got to take it for the progress that's already been made,
aye,
which is excellent. So in time it will become that. And as you said, the minute that they get promoted, the more coverage is only the better.
Bluebeard says, playing on that tatty field on Saturday interrupted our more direct style under the new regime. Do you think we win that game on a pristine surface?
I can't.
I think we're a better fit with team than Dundee United. I think we were trying to build up more, especially in that first half. You can see nearly get caught out with a couple of times. D's nearly get caught out, but I think we would have won if the park was better. I honestly do think that.
The thing that I like as well was the equaliser, even though it's still a cross into the box, which I'm no hammer, like that, I'm all for that. But it's still how it's worked out to the right hand side. It's not just like, and especially when you're chasing a game, you could be forgiven for whoever it is that rolls the ball to Kilty to try and cross the ball for there. But the fact that we still work it out is a good sign.
Quite patient. Ray D says, are we due to beat Falkirk? I think we are, Ray. Samo says, who sells the best pint of Guinness in Killy? For me, it's Max Bar, closely followed by First Aid. It is Max Bar.
You get any other outside shouts you can give folk?
I think that Max Bar, I would say, is the only consistent one that you can. You're going to get good. The Croon's pretty good.
I have had a pint in the Croon actually.
Pint of Guinness is pretty decent in there. I think places like First Aid and all that, depends. If it's quiet, you'll get a good one, but if it's busy, they're not taking the time to pour it properly. Weirdly enough, O'Shannon's, for being an Irish bar, it's not great in O'Shannon's. I quite like O'Shannon's, but the Guinness isn't great. They don't pour it right. They go like that and sit it and just let it pour down. I'm like, tilt the glass.
What about the Pyramid, man?
Pyramid's a 6 out of 10, isn't it, for the Guinness?
Just curious, man.
Aye. But I'll be in the Pyramid on Saturday, drinking the 6 out of 10 Guinness. I'll have 6. Right, Dillinger, friend at Pod, says, you have 3 uses of a time machine. Once you've been to Tynecastle in 1965 to watch us win the league, you can use it for one more Killie related event and one more from world history. What are you choosing?
For Killie, it's something that I've said before. I would love to have been part of that. The Broomloan Lower when Bobby Williamson scores in the last minute.
Good one.
First, obviously, season back up, Rangers undefeated at Ibrox, and best part of 18 months, and for Killie to go and beat them and have a right go, and to know that you'd won the game at that point as well, like you're not hanging on to anything after that. That's one that sticks out for me. What about you?
Maybe Real Madrid, something like that. Maybe Eintracht Frankfurt.
Oh right, aye, Killie, Real Madrid.
Killie, aye.
What about historical moment?
Honestly, I was trying to think of something to make me sound quite interesting and smart.
Come on, something to do with the Russian Revolution.
Aye, I mean, I wouldn't have minded seeing all that getting overthrown. I'm interested in it.
Overthrown?
Aye, overthrown the Tsarist regime.
Aye, sorry. Aye, I thought you were exposing yourself there.
No,
So you were talking about the end of the Cold War there. I was like, can I call me you, mate?
No, I'm talking about when Tsar Alexander and his family were massacred, mate.
Aye.
No, I'm talking about, but I'd probably go and see the Smiths play somewhere in the 80s. I think that would have been to see the photo, because I'll never be able to see it now since the sad passing of Andy Rourke. So even if they did get back together, which they won't, so I'd probably go and see the Smiths in 1985 somewhere.
Aye.
That would have been for me. What about you?
Bannockburn.
Take Frazzie's flag. Right. Funky Monkey says, if the season was to start right now, where would this squad finish in the league?
I think that's a very, very good question.
Yep.
And I think that really puts into perspective where we are. But I would still say we're probably, I'd say maybe 7th or 8th.
Aye, I was going to say
like that, which is absolutely fair, by the way. Something to build on, but I still think that there's a lot of teams there that are better than us. But as somebody raised last week in the forums, the only games we've been beat so far under McCann, excluding the cup game against Dundee, is Rangers, Celtic, Motherwell. Okay, I mean, Rangers, you're down to 10 men after 3 minutes. Motherwell, you're getting a guy sent off. It changes the game when we concede right for it. And then Celtic, it's the last kick of the ball. So you're like, when you take all that into consideration.
Aye, fair point. Right, Daniel says, how many points does Steve Clark's Killie side get in this current league? And is the standard across the league getting worse year after year?
I think this is good, because this is coming up now is basically focusing who'd be better, this Motherwell team or Steve Clark Killie. All my bias in that still there. I'm like, the Steve Clark Killie team is the best normal. Of course, if Motherwell or Hearts for that matter go and win the league, then they've obviously got to get that accolade. But I still think that, and it'd be interesting to see what the likes of Stu thinks as well coming up against, because for me, it's a better Rangers and a better Celtic team back then, and a strong Aberdeen. And Hearts were actually decent as well up until, and I just thought that the Steve Clark Killie team was, but the only team that could be was Aberdeen.
So we get 67 points that famous season. How many do you think we would get if we were in the league this season? Probably another 10
at least.
Aye,
at the very, very least. Aye.
Would have been great. Chew says, looking at this year's squad, the squad we had for our last 2 Premiership playoffs, so that's Lee Clark and then the one we get beat in, who would you pick as the strongest 11 using the players for the 3 seasons?
Oh, I misread that as well.
Alright, what did you think we were answering?
Because I thought it was just the squad for the last 3 seasons.
No, the
didn't
playoff
do the playoffs,
season. So suggesting that there's a chance we'll end up a playoff again.
Aye.
Who would you use to 11th? So, God, you're getting back a bit there.
Well, you'd take Jim McDonald in nets now.
McDonald in nets.
No, Doyler, obviously, man.
Dicker,
aye. Boyd firing. Goals.
firing, aye. McGuinness, Lafferty.
Aye.
Plenty of players, by the way, you could cobble together between the three of them. Although none of them are obviously been brilliant. Good question, man. Right, Bullet says a question that we don't want to think about, but I think it needs asked. When we went down under right, we stuck with the manager when there was very little improvement in the squad, and it almost caused us promotion. If we're to finish 11th and lose the playoff, do you want McCann in the dugout next season?
It's a horrific question, isn't it? And
so many variables there, isn't there?
Because I completely agree with our good friend Alan Taylor there. But is it so tough? And sometimes with that, you need to take things like emotion and that with it, because then you find yourself making the mistakes. Because I've seen enough already to think, right, we're onto something here. But you're like, if you still had enough time to potentially keep us out, you get relegated. And I just think the other things, I mean, it worked against Tommy Wright. And then if you want to go back to the club that we said that we wouldn't have mentioned, always use that example. Well, like Neil Lennon, obviously, remember they said that was a turning point when he got offered the job in the Showers, the Hampden Showers and that, but you're like, how can you give a guy a job to the end of the season and he wins the league and then wins the Scottish Cup, and then you're like, you can't get after that. But sometimes the thing is, you've got to have somebody that can't be that emotionally invested to say, listen, despite that, you can't get down that road. But it's a tough one, but ultimately a relegation shouldn't happen. So but the thing is, a lot of damage was done, but I still put the Tommy Wright stuff in that. I think that we're a sinking ship and we would have got relegated under Dyer, but there was still more than enough points at play to keep us up, and we were unsuccessful. Aye,
come down to the playoff for me. We were right, I should have went because we were so bad in the playoff.
Aye.
So that's why we would judge McCanty.
Aye.
H75 says, do you think Jack Thompson is worthy of a start once suspension's out the way? I think he's really coming onto a game. I was quite impressed with how calm he was in the ball coming and taking the ball for the back four. Obviously that red card, he took one for the team, so we'll hopefully see how we marry him, man.
I've liked a couple of times I've seen him, and then the week after he's not quite been as good, because I remember what was the game he came on? It was excellent. Then he started at Tynecastle after it. Was it Motherwell and D United he played against? I can't remember. I think it was the D United game when we got the point under Kettlewell. And he played well that night, and then he started at Tynecastle and it wasn't great. So it seems like, but maybe you've just got to let him get 3-4 games in a row under his belt and try and do that. But fair play to him for bringing the man down. But what's that? 3 red cards this year?
3 red cards, aye. No great record. Barbino, who's your all-time cult hero at Kelly? I'm torn between Pascali and Eremenko, although bubbling undershouts for scorer and Kokard. So cult hero and hero are totally different things. So for me, Pascali and Eremenko are just heroes. I wouldn't have them as cult heroes.
Aye.
I think you've got to be slightly like Scorer is a cult hero for me, but I think the other two are just flat out gold medalist heroes.
There's almost like a misconception about what a cult hero is, isn't there?
That's the Raymond Gummery thing. He was in the running for the cult hero and match of the day. They done like, who's your club's cult hero? And they were like, Kilmarnock's, is it Ray Montgomery? You're like, no, Ray Montgomery is just a hero, mate. There is no other word needed. So cult hero, who would you go for? Stevie Murray would have been a good one. I think he's a good version of cult hero. I think for me it's going to be Ryan Dodds.
For some reason he was going through my
was he? I
just trying to think you're like kind of underrated, maybe under a
and we've maybe got one of the ultimate cult heroes in Van Turnhout, who literally only scored 2 goals for the club and Scottish football history.
Aye,
but it's a good question.
That's the correct answer.
Right, Prestel says, which Kelly players past or present had the best and worst haircuts? Freddie Dindelu's luscious locks, Hookie's curtains, who else? So good hair, bad hair.
Oh, I can't think of him. Well, Danny Invincible, kind of, obviously.
Aye, quite nice. And Daba had two nice haircuts. His cornrows and his afro. Where
the afro just appeared out of nowhere. I liked that.
That was nice. Obviously, Gary Harkins' his beard.
Aye, that's right.
Bleached it, the pair of big kind of chops at the side.
James Dayton ended up growing
Jimmy Dayton done it, I know. Other nice haircuts we've seen over the years. I think Corey's got to take it.
Who's got shite here?
I mean, it's not for me to comment.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye. I'm just trying to think if there's somebody that done. Like, I remember when Robbie was at Dundee United and then he got like the sick boy, and
Aye,
his hair
aye.
bleach blonde, which
Aye.
he'll be watching this now and he regrets all that, saying like I just looked like an idiot and all that, and well, that was him when he was young and
foolish.
Aye, so I'm trying to think, even if somebody done something like outrageous before, and you're like, oh, but
Aye, come up with a mohawk or something one day, but I don't really recall. Right, we'll come back to that one. Dieters Header says, who do you want to win the Livingston St Mirren match on Saturday, and how much is that answer impacted by our own result?
I think that's exactly it, because if we win, then a Livy win's ideal, because it stays as is with there, and obviously reels St Mirren right into that. But you've got to go and back yourself to win games.
Aye.
But I still think probably a draw is the best result.
I think a draw probably too. Mikey says, first of all, thanks for the Killie Shop voucher. He won that hour on the Patreon. Well done, mate. Great point on Saturday considering the state of that pitch. Any rumours on John Jules' injury? We've covered that. I feel the Falkirk game will be difficult on Saturday. I won't get to see it. I'm going to the pavilion. Keep up the great work, guys. Looking forward to the pods every week. Huge thank you. You're so welcome, mate, and thank you very much. Right, Kelly Exile here in Lenzie. This one comes to you, Cal. Love listening to the pod and I'm signing up for the Patreon. Good man. Me and the good lady are expecting our first child shortly. She'll be born in Glasgow with us living up this way, with the missus, family and friends being fans of the club I'm no mentioning anymore, and our neighbours being Old Firm fans, trying to decide what top would make the best impression on the wee one to ensure that she supports Kelly. Do I go for a retro 80 Mays goalie strip, the 96 home, 97 home, 99 home, 98 away? Modern ones don't quite cut it for me. Decisions. The missus thinks I'm joking about turning up with one when she goes into labour, so he wants to, as child, the first thing she sees is a Kelly strip. Right. What's your all-time favourite strip? Cheers, Big Mix, brother.
Oh, it's Big Cheesy, isn't it, man? Legend. So good to see that, man. So thanks for the kind comments, mate.
Yeah.
You're the man when it comes to kits, though.
I'm anti-Fatma strips.
Evidently.
I've got my wee AC/DC Scotland one on the night, so I like. I can't quite shake off I love the white Tommy Burns 80 Mays.
And it's a rare one as well, and
it's beautiful, mate. The original. I actually love the white Sports Division too. I love the blue and white Puma with the red socks.
Aye.
And more modern era, I would probably plump for. I think Hummel's done really, really well. I actually think the Haim strip for last season is a bit of a classic. So just what you're after in it, blue and white stripes, white round neck, cracker.
Aye, last season one.
Aye.
And nice and tidy, wasn't it?
Very nice.
But what's your favourite tap in the one sitting there?
So we've got these ones here. I would go for, I love that one too. Oh, the old famous fizzy
I've got the bird shit one in there.
anything. I actually like the yellow A-plant because that's like the kind of first Kelly strips I've seen about the tune and stuff like that.
I like the promotion one as well, though.
Aye, I've got that one.
No, sorry.
You're talking about
the 80 Mays.
That one, aye.
One,
80 Mays for me is the kind of class. Can't go wrong with an 80 Mays strip, that's what I would say. Right, TKB says food heaven for Billy Dodds, salted porridge for breakfast, roasted cheese for lunch. There's been a couple of roasted cheese questions. And what's for his dinner?
Well, you're the one that's called this, man. Well, I think I said the salted porridge, but the roasted cheese thing is the infamy, so you need to call what his dinner is.
I have one word for what Billy Dodds' dinner is. Stovies. Alibaba says, is Kelly Cow able to get an update from the Lord Advocate of the status on prosecution of the septic pitch invasion? No, we're not talking about that anymore. Honestly, don't ask any questions about that football club, man. It's not worth it.
It's something though to see to get back to that football club before this, but this would be.
This is him talking, no me.
See if we had a bit about us, man. After you saying that spiel, I should just clip it and put it out on the Opus thing, man.
No, because
and they'll be like that. Oh, I don't talk about us, but what I use is for likes and shares and that. Yeah, absolutely, man. Think of the content that would do, the abuse that we'll get. I couldn't take that. Like, and see when you put the hang up last week with the YouTube comments, I'm like, oh no, man.
I know. Why did I do it?
Because I'm like, they're just got to come for us, even though you didn't do anything wrong and we didn't do anything wrong. But I'm just like, I don't know whether I'm in the right headspace to have faceless accounts calling me all sorts.
I know.
I'm just
not interested anymore. Right, Baz writes a question. Which KillyFC.com trope gets you shaking your head the most and wanting to punch the monitor or chuck your phone out the nearest window?
I love the forums, man. It's so much that. Well, that's what I'm saying to you, man. There's a guy that's asked a completely legitimate question on that thread and get about 3 rids for it. I was like, come on, man.
I actually think that's quite funny when folk get rids for no reason.
So do I think something is funny, but I'm like, it's just wild. Because I tried to do the comments. Here's me trying to get more greenies on the pod. Do the comments and the pod stuff for more engagement. Always green it, man. Just for thing, even if it's constructive criticism or whatever, but because they're engaging. But I just love the forums, man. So. But what about you?
Aye, so it's all the tropes I like actually. Like when the new strap gets announced, and they always put that like the wee image up, and you're clicking on it for ages, and then you realise they've got me again another year. It's like the wee loading image, the forward-thinking attack duck zone valve. Remember that?
Oh, and the hot Dutch wife as well.
The hot Dutch wife. Aye, so I like all that kind of lore. The chat does sometimes go off in some really weird tangents that must be hard for the moderators to try and kind of cajole people back into the conversation. 1 minute you're talking about Liam Polworth, and then it can descend into like whether or no we should have joined the EU again or something like that. It can actually go that far. I do quite like it, I find it entertaining, but then again I don't need to dust up after it.
Well, Baz says that. He says what you read on there, you'll not believe the stuff that they have to hide, because there's obviously that period of late where it seemed like every thread just getting shut down.
It was a bit mental, wasn't it?
It's insane. But that's what happens when you go 18 games without a win.
It gives people too much time, doesn't it? Right, and McLean says, do you think Stephen Robinson has lost the dressing room at St Mirren?
I always think that's his kind of personality, man.
Aye.
So I don't see, even though I know that he threw the players under the bus, was it like the Livy game a few weeks ago and that, but I just think that he's already proven enough. It's the same group of players that have got him the top six the last few years and won the cup. I think he's every right to call them out as well.
Yes, fair enough. Right, okay, we'll move over to the X now. Plenty. We've not got as many on there this week. It's maybe kind of moving across to the forums actually, which maybe isn't a bad thing.
Which we're absolutely delighted with.
Blair Gormall got in touch. So Blair's one of the guys that does the media work. So people will know this already, but he's just come in and said, not a question, but a shout out to Lachlan, who's obviously announced that he's leaving the club, unfortunately, and everything he's done for Kelly Scott and myself. We've loved working with him. He does the hard yards a lot of the time, doing the more boring side of the job and letting me and Scott be creative and do the more fun things. He'll really be missed and will be absolutely class in his new role, and I'm also looking forward to who's coming in next. It will be very popular with the fans. So obviously Lachlan, friend at Pod, has announced that he's leaving the club. Friend
of the Pod indeed, but personal friend as well, man. Great guy, delighted for him with his new opportunity that's arisen, which he'll be great at, and again a top class opportunity. But he loved every minute of working with Kelly. But there's only so much I think folk can take as well, man. I don't think a lot of folk can see all the hours that you really have to put in when you're working at a football club. But he done a great job, and for that period, and I'm hoping that the legacy will continue, and I don't doubt that it will. But they were the power merchants, club social media, man, for a long period there. So no, it goes with our best, and a great message for Blair there.
And that's his own. We got a nice message for Lachlan too, and obviously Lachlan's a top guy. We think very highly of him, and we wish him all the very best in his new role, and he'll get to just watch the games as a supporter now,
which will be refreshing, because what folk forget as well, that maybe not forget but not quite appreciate, but Lachlan of course worked with the Standard, so you're talking like the best part of nearly 10 years that he's been working, and whereas he'll be able to just go to a game now and think
enjoy it. Excellent, mate. Right, okay, the Kelly Pie King says, given Presley called his own team jobby and Derek Adams saying his Morecambe team were a million miles better than his county team, what's the worst part you've ever heard a Kelly manager come out with? For me, it's got to be Tommy Wright away to Wraith.
Well, I wouldn't sarcastically clap to fans.
Aye, that was the beginning of the end.
Tommy wrong, man. Or Tommy Wright, Andy Barlow like this one. When remember when he got the Kelly job and he'd like lost tonners of weight.
Oh aye, that's right.
So like, he was looking good, and like Chick Young was, Tommy, I can't believe what you're looking great. And he's like, I've just been doing a lot of hard yards, walking about, playing golf. And he's like, I think I've walked the length of the Sahara, like genuinely like by his steps. But that's just a thing that me and Andy Barlow used to quote all the time, just about Tommy Wright walking the Sahara.
Walking the Sahara, aye. Maybe that's what he is now. What else have you heard patter-wise for any Kelly managers? Bobby Williamson's famous patter, if you want entertainment, go to the pictures.
And as much as I love them, but Kenny Shields probably at times you're a bit like, probably in hindsight, at the time you all loved it, but see now, you'd be like, very of its time as well, you just don't see that now. And some of that we're even going to talk about in the deep dive that we're doing this week, because that was only for a player that played 10 years ago, and some of the stuff that you see in the press is just stuff that you don't see anymore. Lee Clark as well.
Lee Clark saying that he played with Zidane, that was a pretty good one. Right, David Hanna says, after being used as a wing back, Curtis seemed to be misused again on Saturday, this time centrally. McCann hinted as much. Surely we need to get him as an attacking winger to get the best out of him. I would hope so, mate. I think for his own sake and all, he needs to get a run in that position, 4 or 5 games.
I think that he will.
I think he will too. It's maybe just been getting bedded in, and he's maybe been needed. McCann obviously thinks very highly of him, that he's putting him in different positions. But definitely a good player there, mate, and it was good of McCann to kind of own up to that. Alan Evans says, will we ever keep a clean sheet again? I think we will on Saturday, mate, and if so, will it be more or less than the amount of times you see Neil McCann's media releases followed up with someone saying he speaks so well? He does speak well, doesn't he?
He does speak well.
Media training's all there, man. But I think we'll get a clean sheet on Saturday. You can quote me on that. Gunnar Vance, one of the most handsome men I've ever seen. Good evening, lads. Just wanted to give a shout out to the away fans on Saturday. Felt like the best atmosphere in a very long time. Always pushing the team on. What's your favourite hangover dish?
It could be anything, couldn't it?
Aye.
Could be anything.
It could be anything. Something into a food podcast, this.
It is, aye.
I think if you're really hungover, you don't want anything to eat. You want an ice bowl.
No, if you've done it right, then you're not eating at all.
Like
but
me up at Ibrox like New Year 2 years ago,
shaking, man.
And I never entered a Snickers on the way home. That was the first thing I did that day. It was about 7:15 at night. That's a real hangover. But otherwise, you're just...
you're talking about if you've had a good night at 4 and you can that you're lounging about the next day, but you're no dying. Like,
no.
I don't know. It's one of the ones where folk can be right greedy, man. Where you order a lunch in and then later some folk order dinner.
We had the Da Vinci's yesterday, me and Melanie.
That's not hangover.
No, it wasn't hangover. Neither is we hungover, but it was just wanted to give a shout out to the Da Vinci's.
Aye, very good.
It was good.
Although I disagree with them selling like haggis pakora as a starter.
Right, fair enough, man. Get your...
Or haggis bonbons.
Get a complaint put in, right?
An Italian restaurant. Like, I want authentic Italian shit, man.
Like one meet and greet with the Sopranos, who you think you are?
Vesuvio, man.
Right, Captain Conker gets in touch, mate. Hello, Conks. In a few weeks, we'll have an 8 PM kickoff. Will we go breakfast, lunch, dinner, game, or will it be lunch, game, dinner, perhaps a pre-match nap?
This question,
yeah, something like that before.
And it was Lindsay Mack that there was a bit of patter at it as well. Was it Lindsay McIntyre called it again?
Don't remember.
It was, and I feel bad because it was genuinely funny, but this exact question got asked before.
Right, so what will you do on that evening for the 8 o'clock
that evening?
Saturday night?
It's one of them. It's like how I'm thinking about when this World Cup starting, man.
Aye.
About what to do, because you're like, you kid yourself on that you're like, alright, I'll go. You're like, but you can't have these already do it. So I don't know.
I can't see me having my dinner before it. I'll have my lunch. I'll just have a normal day, Conks. I have my lunch and then just go out.
That's
just do dinner on the way home. Go like 3, 4.
Aye, which would be 8 o'clock, isn't it?
Aye. It's a good question. It's one that needs addressed, mate. He's Marley, you know. What's the muddiest pitch you've ever seen a game of football played on?
The Grange versus Livingston Community. On the same day that Kelly beat Celtic when Matty Kennedy scored.
Oh, and you listened to it on your...
And I was listening to it at the sideline. Appalling. Like not quite. Like, it wasn't actually. You could tell that it would be a good pitch in the summer, i.e. Newlands Drive and Scott Ellis, as previously pointed out. But I just like a total like pissing down with rain, muddy as anything, grass, and we were a team that liked Astro, so. That was. I just remember, like, and I was obviously running the team, but like my trackies were like mocking all the way down as if I was like diving about, and I wasn't. I was just walking up and down the touchline, listening to Matty Kennedy and Kelly battle Celtic.
Excellent, mate. Happy memories, eh? The real Boydie gets in touch and says the change in Kilty is astounding since McCann came in, turning into an important player. Great cross on Saturday. Also, for Culinary Corner, culinary podcast, what's your favourite soup? And an unrelated note, I made my caddy debut the other night. I moved to Bonneton. I love the qualification. Was it hard to betray my beloved Oceans for night, but I enjoyed it. Do either of you frequent? Not been in the caddy this year, but I can be found in the caddy from time to time.
I don't think I've ever been in the caddy.
You've never been in it ever once?
Maybe back in the day. No, I did. I remember getting in back in the day to like play pool when we get like a free period or something.
I am so shocked by that, man. Caddy's good, mate. Caddy's fine.
No, did I go in recently? No, I don't think. I've obviously been in the Battle Suite.
What's your favourite soup?
Alison's chicken noodle, or the 5 stars chicken noodle, very good. But other than that, you've been to Geppetto's, obviously, in the indoor market. Yeah,
I've got a funny story about Geppetto's, but my nana sneaking her own cake in there. She wouldn't pay the money.
She get caught?
She get caught, aye. My nana, before she died, God rest her, she used to go out for coffee and cake with one of her pals, but the cake obviously went for like 140 to 170, and my nana was like, fuck this, we're done here, I'll bring my own cake. So obviously one member of staff was just letting her away with it because she was an old woman, but then somebody put her up and was like, by the way, we know you're stealing cake. Oh, no stealing cake, but you're bringing your own cake in. And my nana...
Oh, so this was hanging about for weeks?
Aye. Right. And they went, you can't do that, like you've got to buy the cakes for here. And my nana, fast thinking, went, this is my diabetic cake actually, and yous don't serve it. It's no diabetic cake. She was talking shite, but she thought very quickly, and the person was like, oh, I'm really, really sorry. She's like, we'll not be back. You've embarrassed me.
Very sharp.
Very sharp for old Gene there.
Very sharp,
Aye,
fair
so-
play to her.
Oh, Geppetto's good soup.
Oh, they do like good cream of soup.
Ah,
But
right,
it's
okay.
basically just like double cream absolutely lashed into it. It's basically like a sauce.
Right.
It's really good.
Sounds good, man.
So they like creamy Cajun chicken soup.
Nice.
And their creamy chicken
Cullen
soup's really
Skink, you into that?
good. What's that like?
Tell you about it after. Cullen Skink's tremendous. Christy Sykes says, what's your breakfast roll of choice?
Rolling slice with tatty or fried egg.
You
So I
go,
didn't
mate.
know it's got a rolling slice either, didn't you know?
Sausage and tatty scone, mate. Whatever sauce you fancy on the day. Right, are Dundee United a big city club, a Diddy club, or somewhere in between? That's what Scott asks.
This was a good talking point, I think, the forums
Aye.
as well. Which is a strange one.
Aye, because they don't seem. They're neither Aberdeen,
I
Hearts,
think they said
Hibs.
9,000 were at the game for an
Never
hour.
9,000 at that.
Nonsense. But Dundee United, because of their European exploits in the 80s, is what really people set them apart with. But you look at, and I know they've won the Scottish Cup twice since then, 94 and 2010.
Aye,
like,
Craig Conway scored that.
but like until that, like Dundee were the bigger club.
Aye.
It's a European thing that really sets them apart, but they've not won any more than Kelly have. I think if anything, we've won more, but it's because they more recently won the league in that. So it's a strange one.
Interesting, man. How many? And he also asks, how many keep you uppies could you manage?
Don't know. I'd if I really tried, I think I could do 100 or more.
Aye. I don't want to sound.
Aye,
I'm
I know,
not a
that's not
talented
maybe
football
copy,
player,
but
but
aye.
I could keep you uppies all day, really.
Aye,
if I was in the
keep
right
you
frame of
up.
mind.
And use both feet as well.
Aye, that's important, isn't it?
Aye. Could
Right.
you do the Maradona 7?
Never.
No,
Nah.
same.
Ryan J says Beach and Brown are gone. Who's next? Is McCann clearing for a summer recruitment drive?
Don't know if anybody else, because I mean, there's guys that can't get in the squad. You know what I mean? Big Dackers, man,
Aye, Dackers, mate. Aye,
on loan to somebody.
possibly. Gavin Hilson says the one team above us, nobody's talking about, is Aberdeen. They're in free fall. Can we finish above them?
Sorry, man. There's just no way.
Nah.
There ain't no way, man.
They'll
Can't
put
see
it back around. I have enough to finish above us, I would think, mate, unfortunately. Kevin says preferred collective pronoun for the team. I don't like it when McCann refers to them as boys, even though he's over 50. It sounds off to me.
The troops.
The troops. Aye, alright, I'll go with that. Aye, I'd go with the esteemed guests at Kilmarnock Football Club.
How guests?
Because they're merely guests at our football club, mate. They'll be moved on, and then more guests will be allowed to play for us.
Very true. Aye.
Galax says a fair few knicker wetters could be heard moaning about Saturday's performance. A point in the road in those conditions. I'll take it and on to the next. Do you think Dodsey, if Dodsey dropped his toast and cheese on the carpet, cheese side down, he'd just pick it up and demolish it anyway? He would, man, with carpet fuzz and hair on it. Yoink.
I would do that, no.
Down the hatch.
So, aye.
Peter Simpson says, is VAR just a gravy train for our incompetent officials?
Yes.
It's horrific, mate. Tam Downey says, is the pod not famous enough to get one of you to be stationed inside Rugby Park so we can find out more about the injuries and contract negotiations?
It's obviously tough, isn't it? But there's obviously the Kelly Chronicle do honestly good work with that, and Ewan does a really good, and Gaby did a good job of updating folk. The John Jules stuff last week, which was sat there right away. So, aye.
Shortly, Salmon Chucker says, this is the last two. Refereeing standards have to be brought up again. Refs on the park are not capable, and you think at least we have VAR, and then it doesn't do the job it's meant to do either. What has to happen? Apollo 13 was closer to touching the moon than Lions was to touching that player as the game gone. The refs are terrible, mate. And VAR isn't helping them either. I actually don't know what the answer is, other than just scrapping it and starting again.
It's a pattern as well with the handballs every week.
Aye, I know they're different.
Because I'm like, nobody knows. Because I even think that, and folk are saying it's no, but the one Celtic have in the first half against Hibs, I'm like, I think that's
Stop mentioning them.
this is me actually trying to buy into the conspiracy that the Masons, the Masonic SFAs against them, but I was like, that for me that was a penalty. It was like the guy, the ball goes into the box and it hits his hand, stops the ball for travelling towards goal, and I still think, even though it can't be because he hits it off himself, but the Dundee United guy handballs it twice, man. But because he hits it off himself, and I know we get away with one with Thompson, kind of. It hurts because for me that's a penalty, but the rules say it's no. But it was for me. I'm like, if you're putting yourself in that position, that's your fault, man. It's a penalty.
Aye. And the apple tree was that said, if the Arabs ever scored a penalty, 3 fixtures this season, 3 different penalty takers, and have failed to score against 3 different Kelly goalies. So there we go. Right, well, we raced through all roads lead to Killie. Have you managed to get it in the course of the last hour?
Oh, I've got it, boy.
Excellent, man. Right, so
I have
we're
a
raising.
feeling that maybe one of the players has been mentioned before, but
we're against the clock here. So we'll try to raise a wee bit extra cash for the food banks. If you're able to give to that incredible cause, then please do. It is very, very much needed. All right, mate, we'll blast through these. Let's go.
Player number 1, Cowdenbeath, St Mirren, Dundee United, Bradford, Kilmarnock.
Cowdenbeath, St Mirren, Dundee United, Bradford, Kilmarnock. Era?
Jeffries.
Oh,
because I think this has been mentioned, because I remember the Bradford thing should have been the clue, but it threw me. But if you really...
Cowdenbeath, St Mirren, Dundee United. The goalkeeper, Alan Combe.
Yes, indeed it is. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Player number 2, just a couple of clubs, but I'm just interested to know if you can batter off the career path right away.
Right.
St Mirren, Kilmarnock, Ayr United.
Snow.
So 200 odd games with St Mirren, only 36 for Kelly, 55 for Ayr.
Barry McLaughlin.
Yes, well done.
Yes.
He also scored the winning penalty against Kelly in the Ayrshire Cup final, I'm right saying.
That's why he's never been on this podcast.
West FM Cup final. He followed us on Twitter there.
Alright, anytime you want to come on, Barry, give us a shout.
And player number 3, Cheltenham, Bath, Hereford United, Inverness, Barnsley, Norwich, Bristol, Aberdeen, Cardiff, Aberdeen, Kilmarnock.
Is it Marley Watkins?
Yeah, it's Marley Watkins.
Hey, he's Marley, you know, and he was a hero on Saturday. And you've painted a wee picture there, and I'm happy with that. It'd be lovely if Marley scored 4 or 5 before the end of the season, kept us up, and went on his merry way.
But just give him a new contract.
Yeah, I hear you, Marley. Right, that'll do us, mate. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you for your company.
Thank you, mate.
Enjoy everybody that's heading up to Falkirk, to Grangemouth on Saturday. Bring back 3 points for us, please. I'm confident you're going to do it. I think you're going to do it if you're going up. But whatever happens, we'll be back next week to discuss all things Killie. Thank you so much, everybody, for your support. We appreciate you, and we'll see you very, very soon.
Thank you, mate.
Bye-bye.